Hi, so let's get ready to make Ciao Lucia. This is a great skirt. It's cut on the cross grain or the bias, and it boasts an exceptional drape that contours elegantly the body before flaring out into a wide, generous hem. This has two side pockets, a lovely zip at the back that can either be invisible or visible. If you're looking to do the visible zip, then that will be in the Ciao Mini Lucia video that you can find on YouTube. And it can be easily lengthened or shortened. It's great in lovely viscose or crepes or silk or double gauzes for a more elegant fluid look, or every day in the summer with a linen or linen blends or cottons or medium weight denims or twills. And then it's excellent as well in the winter if you want to use a lovely wool, lightweight wool or brushed cotton or a ponte knit. And all these fabrics you'll be able to find on Fabrics by Hilary. So keep watching and happy sewing. So we're going to start by pressing our lightweight fusible interfacing to the wrong side of the skirt waistband on half of this waistband, and then we are going to fold this in half and press. Now we're going to follow the notches on the pattern pieces of the front of the skirt, and we're pressing the interfacing template of the pocket opening to the wrong side of this fabric. Now we're going to prepare our pockets, and we're going to work these as a pair. So we're going to start by joining the pocket pieces right sides together, and we're going to sew around the curved edges, leaving the straight edge open. We're going to overlock around the area of our pocket, the curved area that we've just sewn. We're going to attach our pocket to the front, and we're matching the notches. We're going to pin the lining side of the pocket bag to the skirt front right sides together. The pocket opening placement should have already been marked on the pocket lining, and we're going to sew exactly along this line, reversing at the beginning and the end of the stitching line. Then we're going to carefully make snips into both corners of the pocket opening, cutting as close to the stitches as possible but without clipping the stitches to achieve clean corners and release the fabric tension. We're then going to turn the pocket out and press the opening flat. We're going to understitch through all layers of the fabric. This prevents the seams rolling and showing on the right side. If you prefer, you could also top stitch. We're going to pin the main part of the pocket bag flat against the skirt front, and we're going to sew within the 1 centimetre seam allowance along the side of the skirt to secure the pocket bags. We're going to press our finished pockets well. We're going to overlock all side edges of the skirt. If the top of the skirt edge is prone to fraying, you might also want to overlock the waistline edge of the skirt. Remember to try not to trim away any of the fabric, as you're only working with a 1 centimetre seam allowance. If you don't have an overlocking machine, you could also zigzag this area. Now we're going to pin the centre front of the skirt, matching the notches, right sides together, and we'll stitch along our pinned area. Now we're going to match the side seams of the front and back. We're pinning with right sides together, and we're going to then sew along the pinned area. Pay attention around the area of the pockets to not catch these in the stitching line. We're going to press flat the side seams and centre seams that we've just sewn. On half of the waistband, we have attached interfacing to the wrong side. So we're now working on the right side and the side that we haven't attached the interfacing, and we're overlocking this edge. So before we attach our waistband, we're going to stay stitch the waistline. So we're going to sew a row of stay stitches within the seam allowance along the waistline. This fabric is cut on the bias, so by doing this, it prevents the edge from stretching. So you guide the fabric gently under the presser foot without pulling to maintain the correct shape for attaching the waistband in our next step. So now we're ready to attach our waistband to the skirt. So we're placing the interfaced edge of the waistband to the skirt with right sides together. We're pinning, matching up the notches, and we're also making sure that the previous lines of stitching are within the seam allowance. You might want to use a walking foot to help you evenly feed the fabric when stitching, or alternatively you could position the work with the skirt at the bottom touching the feed dogs. Now we're going to press the seams that we've just stitched of our waistband. We're pressing the seams upwards towards the top of the skirt. Ready to attach our zip. We've decided to use a concealed zip, but in the instruction booklet for the pattern there will also be all the information as to how to attach a visible metal zip. Alternatively, if you want to watch a video for this, do have a look at Ciao Maria, because there we have placed a visible zip on this skirt and you can see Maria Rosa sewing along for this. So we're starting by opening the front of the zipper entirely. We're going to turn the zipper over and place the left side against the right side of the skirt fabric. Now we're using a concealed zipper foot, or a standard zipper foot is also possible, and we're sewing down from the top. We're going to stop just slightly before the end of the zip, and that will make it easier for the next process. Now we're going to close the zip, and at the line of the stitching of our waistband, on the zipper tape, we're going to mark that with an erasable pen so that that is our guideline to match up exactly on the other side of our centre back as we attach to the side of the zip. Now we're going to open the zipper and we're going to pin the other side of the zip tape to the opposite seam. We're going to make sure that our pen mark aligns perfectly with the waistband stitching line. And then we're going to pin this in place. If you feel safer, you can also tack this in place, making sure that it aligns up perfectly. We're going to start to sew at the bottom where we finish stitching the other line, so slightly above the end of the zip, and we're stitching up to the top. Now when we close our zip, you can see that everything is perfectly lined up. Now we're going to pin the remainder of the back seam and sew up to the zip, matching the stitching line to the zip stitching. A zipper foot helps to align the stitching. Now we've done a little tiny snip just by the finish of the zip, and that enables us to then turn the waistband, fold it over, and our zipper tape is out of the way. We're going to fold this and sew to secure. We're then trimming any corners if necessary, ready to turn the waistband right side out for a sharp edge. Now we need to secure the waistband, so we're going to make sure that the waistband is lying smooth and flat and covering the stitching line. We're pressing the seam allowances up to the inside of the waistband, and we're going to make sure that we're pinning this first, and then you can also, if it's easier, tack in place. We've decided to stitch in the ditch, so with using our half zipper foot to stitch very close on the right side, making sure that as we're stitching, we're catching all the layers. Now we're overlocking with the front side facing upwards, the hemline of our skirt, so all around the circumference of the bottom of the skirt. We're going to turn up the overlocked edge by 1 centimetre all around the hemline of the skirt and press in place. Now we're hemming all around the skirt with our machine, the 1 centimetre that we've turned up. Congratulations! So if you've been watching the video, your Ciao Lucia skirt is now complete and ready for a final press and to wear.